two, one, and you can begin.
A very good morning to the board of directors, principal ma'am, guest speakers, and everyone present here today. We are honored to have with us this morning two esteemed officers, Colonel Prashant and Lieutenant Colonel Devendra, who have served with the Indian Armed Force. It has been aptly said, and I quote, our flag does not fly because the wind moves it. It flies with the last breath of each soldier who died protecting it. This morning, we have come together through this virtual assembly to remember India's war victory and to pay tribute to the Kargil martyrs who are committed with courage, sacrifice, and valiance. A good way to start one's day is to begin with a prayer. I call upon Swara Bapat of Class 4A to give an auspicious start to this day with a prayer.
ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहे तेजस्विना वधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषां वहे ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः
A new day begins with a new thought, a new strength, and endless possibilities. So, to enlighten us and brighten our morning assembly, I would like to call Naisa of Class 5B to tell us the thought for the day.
Good morning, honorable members of the board, respected principal ma'am, esteemed guest speakers, and everyone present here. Today's thought for the day is courage is not the absence of fear but the triumph over it. A brave man is not he who does not feel afraid, but he who conquers that fear. Meaning, fear is a natural human response to danger. Most people will feel fear when in danger, but a brave person will find a way to overcome it because something is so important to them that it allows them to overcome the urge to either run away or just do nothing. With courage in our hearts, freedom in our hands, and faith in our words, let us thank our soldiers and remember the fights and toil on this day. Thank you.
Thank you, Naisa. I now request our principal, Dr. Mrs. Arnavas Bhagat, to address us and to introduce our guest speaker, Colonel Prashant Oak.
Our honorable guest speakers for the day, Colonel Prashant Oak, retired, Lieutenant Colonel Devendra Butala, retired, respected Board of Directors, PTA, parents, teachers, and my dear children. A very good morning and a warm welcome to our virtual school assembly commemorating Kargil Vijay Divas. Now, this day is a very, very important day for every citizen of this country. 26 July every year is commemorated as Kargil Vijay Divas, a day when our nation pays homage to our brave soldiers of the Kargil War that was fought against Pakistan. It was on this day that India took command of the high outpost which had been lost to Pakistan. I will just quote a small, very touchy few lines. I quote, tell them for their tomorrow, we gave our today, unquote. These golden words are embedded on the Kargil Memorial. 527 brave heroes sacrificed their lives for their motherland so that we can live with our heads held high. Let each Indian, no matter who, no matter where, take a pledge to do their duty to the fullest, to the family, to society, and to our great nation. We also need to understand that this is not a profession. Joining the armed forces is not a profession. It is something like a mission. to sacrifice a life, to be martyred, or to live with glory for the rest of their lives with the thought that yes, we were there to protect our motherland. Today we are honored and privileged to have in our midst Colonel Prashant Oak, retired. Born in Mumbai, of course, in Ville Parle, so he is very much well versed with our vicinity and our school area. He has completed his schooling from Sainik School, that is in Satara. Passed out in 1985 from the National Academy, that is the military school. Commissioned into then he has also completed his National Defence Academy from Khadakwasla. Commissioned into 76 Medium Regiment of Artillery in June 1986. Transitioned into the Army Aviation in 1991. There's a lot to highlight about you. I've just taken a few very, very important and significant milestones. Active operational service in Operation Brass Tacks, Operation Trident, Operation Rakshak, Jammu and Kashmir, Operation Siachen, that is Meghdut, Vijay, that is the Kargil War, and Operation Parakram. He has also been trained and certified in the behavioral studies at Defense Institute of Psychological Research. He has served for 24 years in the Indian Army. Presently, a commercial helicopter pilot supporting Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh Union Territories for aviation and flying for CRPI operations in Jammu Valley. His better half, Mrs. Bhagyashri, is working in our school as a primary teacher, teaching math and science subjects. Their son, Captain Varun Oak, is also a proud Army officer. We welcome you today, and we are indeed very proud and privileged to have you in our midst. And I'm sure that your words of encouragement, your experiences, which are absolutely first-hand information, will go a long way for our students and all those who are viewing this live stream assembly today to reflect back in their lives what it means to join the armed forces, what it means to be at the border, serving the nation. And I'm sure wherever we are, we will imbibe whatever we can do as good citizens of this country. I now request Colonel Prashant Oak, retired, to say a few words of encouragement and share his experiences with all of us. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. I hope I'm visible and audible to everybody. That was a long introduction for a humble soldier, ma'am, and I'm really honored. I am really happy actually because I got a chance to speak to you all. Ville Parle happens to be my birthplace, my mother's hometown, and just to share with you, your great institution, which was founded long back in the memory of Lokmanya Tilak, has been the school where the complete previous generation to me, from my maternal side, my mother and her siblings have imbibed their values from. So I take it as a matter of pride and honor to speak to you all, speak to all the students who are listening to me live, and I'll do whatever I can in the limited time that is available to me. Principal ma'am, faculty, the trustee members, the board of directors, and my dear young friends. Today is a day where on which we remember the martyrs and the valiant soldiers who fought in the Kargil War and threw the enemy out of the lands that they had occupied in the Kargil, Batalik, and Dras sectors. This war started as a bad misadventure from the adversary, that is Pakistan, for their own interests. I would not talk about the strategic and the technical significance of the war and why it happened and why this misadventure is done. But for you students, I'm going to narrate to you a couple of incidents for you to commemorate and remember those heroes, not only in the Kargil war, but all the time in the history of post-independent India, that people fought and kept all of us, the citizens of this great country, protected and safe. Like Dr. Arnava said, it's not a profession, it's not a career to join the armed forces. Well, she said, defined it in a different way. But for all of us soldiers, it's a way of life. Once we get into the army gets into us and it never comes out. It's a way of life that we live. It's a way of life that may not be very comprehensible to a normal citizen. Though people say that we are, isolated. Yes, we are isolated, but we are happy. I was a couple of days back speaking to another forum and telling them how, on a small post, my son was in the Siachen Glacier a couple of years back. He spent about 115 days against 90 that he's supposed to spend, with a platoon strength reduced to 17 men. So for those 100 days, almost 115 days, they were just those one officer, my son, and 17 men with him who were secluded and away on the post, and they did their duty the way they should. A lot of people ask me that, do you feel isolated? Do you feel away from the family? Yes, of course. Of course, people do feel isolated, do feel, they remember their families, but they're happy. Who are they fighting for? They're not fighting for, bigger reasons. They're fighting for a smaller reason, for the people who are serving with them, with their friends, and the trust that they lay upon each other, that in case of an action where needed, each of them will lay their life down for the other man. It's for the other man, it's for my buddy, it's for my crony that I'm going to lay down my life. It's for his protection and the protection of that post where I'm posted that I'm going to lay down my life. They say, in a larger sense, when a person joins the armed forces, he writes a check. He writes a check to the citizens of the country of an amount of anything and everything, including his life. So that's the way it is. So there I come. So today I'll narrate to you 3 instances, 2 of them from the past, way down past, which actually had a deep impact on all of us while undergoing training at the National Defense Academy. And then an incident from my own personal experience during the Operation Vijay, that is the Kargil war. Like your principal has said, I was deeply involved with the Kargil war, and I handled the Kargil helicopter operations all through the 2.5 months of war. So 1 incident from my experience and 2 from the past. The first one I would like to tell you about an officer called Khetrapal. Arun Khetrapal from 38th NDA course got commissioned. The 71 war broke out, and their course went straight into operations without any formal training on the tank. He was a part of a tank regiment. He went as a troop commander facing the Pakistani tanks in the front. The war broke out. In the sector that they were defending, there was a lot of action going on. His troop came under enemy fire, got isolated, and finally Arun Khetarpal refused to leave his tank before we blew out all the enemy tanks that were confronting him. That is the kind of sacrifice, sense of sacrifice that all of us, he made the supreme sacrifice and finally was awarded the Paramveer Chakra, and we all remember him. The second incident that I want to bring out here was even from an older war in 1962, the war which we had with the Chinese. It's a very, very unexpected kind of a war when Chinese administration and the government kept talking to Nehru about Hindi Chini Bhai Bhai, and suddenly in Arunachal Pradesh and Ladakh, they attacked our territory and they came in. So on such a very, very isolated post, there was just one section defending it. That section was being defended by a small section of Sikh regiment being led by Second Lieutenant Palta, a great young officer with a lot of steel, a lot of resolve. The Chinese outnumbered them. They came in mass and overran the post. There was one particular young soldier who was just 17 years old, just enrolled, had no experience of operations. A young soldier called, he was our Subedar Major when we did our training in the National Defense Academy. And this man, scared, totally outnumbered, and was wondering what he's going to do now. His name was Sipahi Darbara Singh. As he was, readying his rifle to put on the bayonet in front of the rifle and fight hand to hand with the enemy because they had run out of ammunition, his section commander, Second Lieutenant Palta, got hit by a Chinese bullet. And his body, his lifeless body, fell onto Darbara Singh. Darbara Singh got buried under corpses. Chinese overran them. After overrunning their post, Chinese went away. He was the only soldier remaining on that post. Scared totally. Somehow found his way back to his battalion headquarters. As he narrated later to us, he was washing the blood of Second Lieutenant Palta who fell on him. For 7 days, the blood stains won't go. All that Subedar Major Darbara Singh later, when we were undergoing training, had to tell us that this is the kind of officers that National Defense Academy produces. They are daredevils, they are leaders of good men, and they protect the men under their command, even when they are alive and when they are dead. Subedar Major Darbara Singh, who was Sipahi then, had actually taken it to his heart that this gentleman, this leader of mine, Second Lieutenant Palta, he protected me even after he died. So that is the kind of sacrifice, that is the kind of leadership that comes out of these institutions. I'm proud to be trained in that institution and thereafter doing my service to the nation. Later during the Kargil war, why I'm telling you all these stories, different stories, specific stories, gentlemen, is every story highlights one particular facet of your character, and which I'm sure you are going to imbibe from it, from your faculty and from your teachers. The incident that happened to me was Kargil war on the 30th of June, 1999. Well, I got a message. I was handling the entire helicopter operations from Kargil helipad. I was the detachment commander there. I got a message from the brigade headquarters saying, there's a man who's hit. He's bleeding profusely and he's going to die. You see, I'm giving you this particular example. There are n number of examples like this, but this particular example, because what it brought out in my life was, the tremendous kind of trust and faith that the men under you, the soldiers under you, or a fellow soldier keeps and relies on you is tremendous. So I got a message that the soldier is badly injured. He's got a shot on his head and he's going to die bleeding profusely. So me and my co-pilot decided, okay, we'll make an attempt. Normally we do not fly. It's very risky to fly in mountains in the second half of the day because of the air turbulence. But we decided, okay, let's go and get this soldier out. This area where the soldier was injured was in the thick of a firefight. As we expected when we went there, it was expected. We hit turbulence, we lost altitude. We probably would have, had the turbulence continue to spiral us down, we would have hit the ground. But we were a little fortunate. The nature gods gave us a little more respite. We recovered the helicopter and we said, okay, let's make another attempt. It was a very, very narrow valley. We went. There was no place to land. We landed. We picked up this man under fire. There were bullets flying all over. There were explosions going on here, there. We landed. We picked up this man, hoping like hell that in a bid to pick up this man, maybe a bullet hits the fuel tank, gets exploded, or maybe an explosion of an RT shell near us, then the whole helicopter and the entire people who come to leave this man to the helicopter, they all perish. But no, we were lucky. The God was watching. Anyway, we picked up this man. We came out. While coming back, my co-pilot, a very dear friend of mine, Rajiv, he said, just check out whether he's alive or not. So I just tapped him. This man, they had kept him at the back. I just tapped him. His name was Ram Kumar, Lance Naik Ram Kumar, I still remember. This man suddenly came alive. He had a bandaged head full of blood. The blood was flowing all over the helicopter. I asked him, "Kya naam hai beta tera?" He says, "Sab, so and so, Lance Naik Ram Kumar." And what he told me after a little conversation that I tried to strike with him really left me spellbound, and I was aghast. The kind of faith and trust that man had in me was tremendous. He just told me that, "Saab, abhi aapne mere ko le liya, abhi main to bach jaunga." While we were coming back to Kargil, I heard a helicopter start up engines for going back to Srinagar. I told him to wait. We landed, put this man in the other helicopter. He was evacuated to Srinagar in the very good hospital which is there. Surgery happened. Then he was sent to Chandigarh, even very, very well equipped hospital. Anyway, chapter closed. We kept on doing our duty, and such like evacuations we're doing every day. But this particular thing, you will understand why I'm narrating this incident to you. The Kargil war was over, Vijay Divas, everything, all happy. 4 months down the line, in November, I had gone to Mumbai for some work, and I was getting back to Leh via Chandigarh. There is a transit camp in Chandigarh where we stay prior to coming up to Leh. So I went there in the evening. I was just taking a walk, and somebody from somewhere came rushing to me, and he caught my feet. I was aghast. I said, "What's this man doing?" I lifted him up, and I did not recognize him because maybe I would have evacuated maybe a couple of hundred people from the war in my helicopter. I did not recognize him. But this man, as he got up, he hugged me and he told me, Saab, on 30th of June, you're the man who took me out from so and so place. I instantly recognized him. I hugged him back. And I went back and I kept on thinking, what kind of trust these were. So children, why I'm narrating these couple of incidents to you is just for one thing. Remember, you are the future of our country. You are going to take our country to bigger and bigger heights. Like the principal ma'am said, you have responsibilities towards yourself, your family, your society, and the nation. It's not that by becoming a soldier and an officer only will you do your duties to your nation. All walks of life. But one thing that you have to remember is you must inculcate the right high values that you as an Indian, as a nationalist, is expected to inculcate. So please do that. Please learn everything. Please read. Please read not only academics, but a whole lot of other things. Please play as much as attention that you give on your academics. Please play a lot. Go out on adventures. Do a lot of trekking. Do some mountain climbing as you grow up. It will keep you fit. It will keep you mentally and physically very healthy. And when you go out into the nature, go out into the mountains, desert, that will teach you the values of life. Anyway, we'll run short of time. I wish you all the best, children. And do remember, when in your daily prayers, do remember to say a prayer for this unknown soldier who's laid down his life and made the supreme sacrifice. A lot of you might be may aspire to join the armed forces. Well, I stay in Villeparle. Please do contact me through your teachers. I am all there to guide you. That is my social service to you, to children, and especially to the institute that has made the previous generation of my family. The values that I got from my mother are all from your institution. So wish you all the best. And I once again thank the trustees, the board of officers, Dr. Anwas, and all the teachers for giving me an opportunity to speak to the children. Like I said, I am all available anytime for guidance to these children. I wish you all the best. Thank you, sir, so much. And Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.
Thank you, Colonel Oak, for sharing your experiences with us and for reminding us of the dedication and commitment of the armed forces, which I am sure will encourage our students to broaden their horizons and inspire us all to evolve as responsible citizens of the country. Soldiers are not just mere soldiers, and rightly said by Colonel Oak, they are daredevils. They are the pride of our nation. Full of zeal and fervor, Master Krishna Sharma of Class 3A will now recite a poem titled Operation Vijay.
Good afternoon, Honorable Board of Directors. Good morning, Honorable Board of Directors, respected Principal Madam, esteemed guests, speakers, and everyone present here. My name is Krishna Sharma, studying in 3rd A. I am going to recite a poem in Hindi. मेरे कविता का नाम है ऑपरेशन विजय. कठिन परीक्षा बेहद मुश्किल, हर दिल में भारत माता की जय. मौत भी डर जाती है जहां जिंदगी का लक्ष्य है ऑपरेशन विजय. रोक न पाए वादे कश्मीर में बैठे खून को, निर्दोषों की हत्या करने वाले क्या जाने किसी कानून को, कोई जहाज बचा नहीं पाता मासूमों को हत्यारों से, टाइगर पे भाइयों को जलाया बारूद अंगारों से। याद करो वो दिन, याद करो वो दिन जब लाहौर में तिरंगा लहराया था, जब हमारे कर्मठ नेता बस से लाहौर जा रहे थे, विश्वासघाती कारगिल में बारूद बिछा रहे थे, जब उन प्यारे भाइयों द्वारा मेरी जमीन घेर ली जाती है, तो हमारी फौज डट कर भारत को जीत दिलाती है। वतन के लिए न्यौछावर हो गए, कारगिल युद्ध में शहीद हो गए, ऐसे वीरों को पाले तिलक विद्यालय की तरफ से सत सत नमन। जय हिंद। धन्यवाद।
Thank you, Master Krishna. That was truly a salute to our soldiers for all the efforts they put in to save our country at the borders. Accompanied with the PowerPoint presentation and a video, Master Atharva Kunte and Neil Joshi of Class 10A will brief us about the Kargil War.
ऐ सरजमीन हिंदुस्तान, तेरे उन जानिसारों, जांबाजों, शहीदों और मुहाफिजों को सलाम है, सलाम है, सलाम है, जिन्होंने अपनी बहादुरी की कलम से फतह की एक और बेमिसाल तारीख लिख दी। गवाह है आज भी कारगिल की वो बुलंद चोटियां, जिनको तुमने अपने लहू से सींच कर तिरंगे की आन, बान और शान को रोशन कर दिया।
Good morning, respected Board of Directors, Principal Madam, Supervisor Madam, all the guest speakers present, and my dear friends. Today, we are conducting this virtual session to commemorate the 21st anniversary of Kargil Vijay Divas. We, Atharva Kunte and Neil Joshi of Standard 10A, are going to walk you through this presentation. Kargil Vijay Divas. The Kargil War, also referred to as Operation Vijay, which started in the month of May and ended officially on July 26, 1999, is considered as one of the most difficult battles ever fought against Pakistan. 26 July is celebrated as the Kargil Vijay Divas because on this day in the year 1999, the then Prime Minister of India, Shri Atal Bihari Vajpayee, declared the successful conclusion of Operation Vijay. Every year, the Prime Minister of India pays homage to these valiant martyrs, these sons of the motherland, who took the solemn pledge of keeping their country over their own being at Amar Jawan Jyoti at India Gate in New Delhi. Now, Neil will tell us about the climatic conditions and terrain in which our soldiers serve.
Now, let's take a look into the climatic conditions of Kargil. Firstly, we should understand why the Kargil War was different from the other wars. Indian Army during the Kargil War had a strategically disadvantageous location, but the weather too was hostile. We should understand that the Kargil is cold desert with very less vegetation. It is the second coldest inhabited place in the world after Siberia. The temperature here ranges from minus 48 degrees to plus 35 degrees. It is very difficult for newly recruited soldier to acclimatize quickly in these type of conditions. It further becomes difficult at night time because the visibility becomes zero. Now, let's take a look into the topography of the area. The red dotted line, which we can see, is the line of control. The Pakistani army had intruded almost 20 kilometers inside the line of control. Black line is the National Highway 1. It connects Jammu to Srinagar, Srinagar to Leh, and Leh to Ladakh. The main aim of Pakistani army was to capture all the hills near the National Highway 1 so that they could monitor the National Highway 1 and stop the supply of arms and ammunition and ration to Leh and Ladakh, and then finally separate Leh Ladakh from Jammu and Kashmir. Now Atharva will tell us about the causes of Kargil war.
Causes of the Kargil War. In the winter of 1998 and 1999, the Pakistani armed forces began to covertly send the Pakistani troops and paramilitary forces, allegedly in the guise of the Mujahideen. Usually in extreme winters due to the lack of special equipments at that time, according to the unwritten rule, both the Indian as well as the Pakistani armed forces withdrew from their forward posts. However, getting the report of intrusion in the Kargil sector from the local shepherds on the 3rd of May 1999, a patrol team was sent under the leadership of Captain Saurabh Kalia. Captain's team was ambushed and the soldiers were killed. Captain Kalia, however, in a wounded state, was taken as a captive and was tortured to death. In the second week of May, the Pakistani intruders started heavy shelling on the army camps and the National Highway 1. Realizing this scenario and also receiving the reports of intrusion by the enemy in the Dras, Kaksar and Mushko sectors, the Indian army started heavy placement of troops in the valley. Now let us take a look at how the conflict began. Operation Vijay versus Operation Badr. The Kargil War was an armed conflict between the armies of India and Pakistan in the Kargil, Dras, Batalik and Mushko sectors of the then Indian state of Jammu and Kashmir. The Indian army referred to this operation as Operation Vijay, whereas the Pakistani intruders codenamed the mission as Operation Badr. The main aim of Operation Badr, launched by Pakistan, was to sever the links between Kashmir and Ladakh by taking control of National Highway 1 from the high mountain peaks of Tolole, as National Highway 1, also called as the gateway to Ladakh, was the only main land route to Ladakh. It would then cause the Indian army to withdraw from the Siachen Glacier and would force the Indian government to negotiate a settlement of the broader Kashmir dispute. On the other hand, the aim of Operation Vijay was to push back the Pakistani intruders and successfully reclaim the treacherously occupied post by the enemy. In response to the Kargil infiltration, the naval and air forces of the country launched Operation Talwar and Operation Safed Sagar. Let's take a look at them respectively. Operation Talwar. The naval forces as a part of Operation Talwar prepared to blockade the Pakistani ports, primarily the Karachi port, to cut off the enemy's supply routes. The eastern and western fleets of the Indian Navy joined in the North Arabian Sea and started aggressive patrols and threatened to cut Pakistan's sea and oil trade flows. Operation Safed Sagar. The Air Force also launched Operation Safed Sagar in support of its mobilization of land forces. The Air Force played a crucial role not only in keeping a watch over the enemy advancements and attack the enemy camps, but also in the deployment of forces, ammunition, medicines, and supplies to the base camps of the army. This also gave the Air Force an opportunity to experience for the first time a warlike situation at such a high altitude and make improvisations in the combat fleets. MiG-21, MiG-23, MiG-27 aircrafts and the Mi-17 helicopters played a major role in the war. The daylight airstrike of 28 June on the supply camp of the enemy at Kukar Thang and Munthod Halu was a resounding success for the Air Force in the Batalik sector. Now Neil will give us an insight into the turning points of Operation Vijay.
Surveillance by the army alone was not possible, hence Air Force was invited for patrolling. Light Lieutenant K. Nachiket was sent for patrolling in his MiG-27. Unfortunately, his plane was shot, but he ejected and landed in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. He was the first prisoner of war in the Kargil War. To check on him, his squadron leader Ajay Ahuja went on a search operation. Even his plane was shot, but he was captured by the Pakistanis. He was tortured to death. Ajay's death was the cause of most angry public conflagration between India and Pakistan at that time. The second turning point was the capture of Tololing Hill. On July 5, 1999, the Indian Army captured the Tololing Hill after 2 attempts. The Battle of Tololing was most important as the one who had the Tololing Hill had control over the National Highway 1, which connected Srinagar to Leh. Major Rajesh Adhikari, Naik Digendra Kumar, and Colonel Ravindranath played a pivotal role in the battle and were awarded gallantry medals for their bravery. The third turning point was the capture of Pimple Complex. On July 6, 1999, the Indian Army captured the Pimple Complex. The Pimple Complex, also known as the Three Pimple. The Battle of Three Pimple was one of the most important battles in the war. The Pimple Complex was located on the western slope of Point 4875. The securing of Pimple Complex helped for the recapture of Tiger Hill, which finally forced Pakistan to retreat across the line of control. In this fight, we lost Captain Anuj Nayyar. He was awarded Mahavir Chakra for his valor. India lost a total of 527 bravehearts in this war who put their country over their personal life to uphold the sovereignty of our country. Now, Atharva will tell us about the Paramveer Chakra awardees and their unimaginable valor.
Captain Vikram Batra. Captain Vikram Batra passed out from the Indian Military Academy and was commissioned in the 13th Jammu and Kashmir Rifles. Captain Batra was initially chosen for capturing Point 5140, and after his success, he was further given the responsibility of capturing Point 4875. For a speedy operation, Captain Batra assaulted the enemy position along a narrow ridge and engaged with the enemy in a fierce hand-to-hand combat, killing many enemy soldiers at point-blank range. Despite sustaining grave injuries during the fight, he crawled towards the enemy and hurled grenades, clearing the position with utter disregard to his personal safety. Leading from the front, he rallied his men and pressed on the attack and achieved a near impossible military task in the face of heavy enemy fire. The officer, however, succumbed to his injuries. Inspired by his daredevil act, his troops fell upon the enemy with vengeance and annihilated them, capturing Point 4875. Captain Batra was awarded the Paramveer Chakra, the highest military gallantry award. He once said, "या तो तिरंगा लहरा के आऊंगा, या तो तिरंगे में लिपट के आऊंगा, लेकिन आऊंगा जरूर." Captain Manoj Kumar Pandey. Captain Manoj Kumar Pandey had passed from the National Defence Academy and was commissioned in the 11th Gorkha Rifles. He took part in a series of boldly led attacks to capture the Khalubar top, forcing back the intruders with heavy losses in the Batalik sector. His finest hour was during the advance to Khalubar when he was a platoon commander. Fearlessly assaulting the enemy positions, he killed several enemy personnel and proceeded to assault more bunkers. Captain Manoj Kumar Pandey during this fight was severely injured. However, undauntedly and without caring for his grievous injury, he led the assault, urging his men to continue the fight instead of giving his injury a concern. It is this singular daredevil act of the officer which provided the critical firm base for the companies, which finally led to the capture of Khalubar. Captain Manoj Kumar Pandey thus showed most conspicuous bravery, indomitable courage, exemplary personal valor, outstanding leadership, and made the supreme sacrifice in the highest traditions of the army. He said, "If death strikes me before I prove my blood, I swear I will kill death." He was awarded the Paramveer Chakra posthumously. Subedar Major Yogendra Singh Yadav. Subedar Major Yogendra Singh Yadav was enlisted with the 18 Grenadiers and was a part of the Ghatak Force Commando Platoon. He was tasked to capture the 3 strategic bunkers on the Tiger Hill. Yadav volunteered to lead the assault, climb the cliff face, and install ropes that would further allow assaults on the feature. In spite of being hit by multiple bullets, Yadav climbed the remaining cliff and reached the top. Though severely injured, he crawled to the several bunkers, lobbed grenades, killing several Pakistani soldiers, and neutralized the enemy fire. He played a major role in the capture. He was the only member alive in his whole team who did a search operation in the injured condition and found out that the enemy was going to attack the Mushko Valley the next day. This action of his helped the army to save the lives of many soldiers. Aged 19 when he received the decoration, Yogendra Singh Yadav is the youngest person to be awarded Paramveer Chakra. Now Neil will tell us about some interesting facts of Kargil War.
Our army is the only force in the world that guards a border starting in that region from 1600 feet and reaching the highest peak, which is Siachen, at 5400 feet. The average age of Indian soldiers who were martyred was 24 to 25. The Bofors gun, with a range of 35 kilometers in the high altitude terrain, proved to be the difference between the two armies and caused heavy casualties on the Pakistani side.
Kargil War Memorial. The Kargil War Memorial is a war memorial built by the Indian Army in the town of Dras across the Tiger Hill, commemorating the 1999 Kargil War between India and Pakistan. The central feature of the memorial is a pink sandstone wall bearing a brass plate engraved with the names of the soldiers who died during Operation Vijay. This war memorial stands as a testament to the unimaginable valor, courage, and dedication of the Indian Armed Forces. What did we learn? The Kargil War showed us the never give up attitude of the army. It also taught us that we should never compromise in the matters affecting our national security. Lastly, but most importantly, it also taught us to be prepared and volunteer to protect the unity, integrity, and sovereignty of this great nation. Jai Hind.
Jai Hind.
Thank you and have a nice day.
Vande Mataram, Vande Mataram, Vande Mataram, Vande Mataram. और रुख मोड़ दिए तूफानों के, चट्टानों को धूल बनाया है। दुश्मन हमको ना भूलेगा, उसे ऐसा सबक सिखाया है। मातरम, वंदे मातरम।
Theodore Joshi on the radio said, after another bunker was captured, my company's success की नंबर ये दिल मांगे मोर।
आंधी चले तूफान उठे, बढ़ता ही रहे तू रुके नहीं, जब तक है फलक जब तक है जमीन, मेरा दिल ये कहे कभी झुके नहीं। लहराए तिरंगा, लहराए तिरंगा। वंदे मातरम, वंदे मातरम, वंदे मातरम, वंदे मातरम।
अगर मुझे अपने खून को साबित करने से पहले मौत आ गई तो कसम से मैं मौत को ही मौत की नींद सुला दूंगा।
कारगिल का ये युद्ध भले ही उच्च अधिकारियों की विस्तृत प्लानिंग और रणनीति के अनुसार लड़ा गया, लेकिन इसे जीतने वाले औसत 20 से 25 साल की उम्र के वो नौजवान सैनिक ही थे जो शेरों की तरह दुश्मन पे टूट पड़े। ये वो बेटे थे जिन्हें अपनी माँ के आत्मसम्मान की चिंता अपनी जान से कहीं ज्यादा थी। पूरे विश्व पटल पर भारतीय विजय का डंका बजने लगा। आज हमारा भारत विश्व में एक नई शक्ति बन के उभर रहा है। कारगिल की ये विजय उस नए भारत की नींव का पत्थर है, क्योंकि इस युद्ध में बही खून की हर एक बूंद ने हमारे आज को सींचा है। वही खून प्रेरणा देता है, बढ़ो आगे, मत रुको, पूरी शक्ति सहित निर्भयता से हर असंभव पहाड़ इसी तरह जीत लो। सीने में जो भारत भूमि के प्रति प्रेम है वो खूब प्रज्वलित हो। जब संपूर्ण विश्व के शीर्ष शिखर पर भारत का ध्वज फहराएगा, तब मेरे देशवासियों हर दिन विजय दिवस कहलाएगा।
Thank you, Atharva. Thank you, Neil. I now request Mrs. Usha Nair Supervisor of the secondary section, to introduce our guest speaker, Lieutenant Colonel Devendra Butala.
Good morning to one and all. As we are here to commemorate Vijay Divas, it is only befitting that we have a person who has been there and done that to speak to you and share with you why a soldier does what he does, risk his life for the country. We welcome Lieutenant Colonel Devendra Butala, who retired from the army after serving the nation for 21 years. Army does not only constitute a fighting force, as is the common understanding, but owes a huge measure of the success on the supporting arms and services that support the fighting troops. Colonel Butala is an electrical engineer who served with the Corps of Electrical and Mechanical Engineers. EME, as it's popularly called, is a supporting corps that ensures that every equipment, from the pistol or a rifle to a tank or a missile, is kept battle ready at all times. Colonel Butala is among the few very specialized engineers who handle the maintenance of the state-of-the-art BrahMos missile system, a supersonic cruise missile that is launched from submarine, ships, aircrafts, or from land. It is the fastest supersonic cruise missile in the world. He has, for 3 consecutive years, been in charge of the repair and maintenance support system for the Army headquarters in supporting and transporting the fleet at the Republic Day parade. We welcome you, sir, to this one of its kind virtual assembly. May I request Lieutenant Colonel Devendra Butala to address our students.
Am I audible, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much, ma'am, for your kind words. Respected Principal Ma'am, Colonel Prashant sir, Board of Members, teachers, and my young friends. So, I shall be talking mainly on why should we join our armed forces and briefly touch upon the training aspects. So, before I come on to the subject proper, I would like to quote a saying, basically, the freedom comes at cost. No lunch is free in this world. Over last 73 years, post-independence, thousands of our valiant men have given their supreme sacrifices to keep our tricolor flying high. As a citizen of the country, it is our responsibility to do our bit. And when we commemorate Vijay Divas tomorrow, that is the time that we should have an insight, and we should remember the sacrifices made by our greats. Okay, now coming to the topic proper, and before giving you little guidance on why should we join our armed forces, I'll begin with myself. That is, what was the motivation or inspiration behind me joining the armed forces? The inspiration lies right in your school. If you recollect, Captain Vinayak Gore, who is an ex-student of Parle Tilak Vidyalaya, Captain Gore attended martyrdom in the year 1995, and I was undergoing my college in Vile Parle, that is Bagubai Mufatlal Polytechnic. That is the time I saw on television, of course, the last rites and the respect which is given to a martyr. Then that thought came in my mind. Then now, since after Captain Vinay Gore, there is a void, there is a gap. Who will replace it? Who will be there to take his place? Then the thought came into mind, why not me? Then I started building on those lines and started preparing for the CDS exam, Combined Defense Services exams, and cleared my exams, and then joined the Corps of EME. As ma'am brought out, Corps of EME is in a supporting role. Basically, when the armed forces, like fighting forces, are fighting ahead, we are there with them, shoulder to shoulder, basically looking after the serviceability part of the equipment. So now coming to the subject proper, why should we join the armed forces? See, it is a great pride to be a worthy member of a family which is 12.5 lakh strong members in it, and you are also treated as one of the respectable member. Wherever you get posted, whichever state you are posted to, you are always treated with same warmth and same respect, and it continues. I can vouch, since I am retired now, it continues even after your retirement. The uh, bonds which you have with your friends, with your colleagues, they continue till the time you live. uh, now coming to the subject, why should we join our forces? First and foremost, as you all are aware, discipline is the motto or is the identity of our armed forces. So discipline becomes a way of your life. When we enter into the academy, we are taught first that be at right place, right time, right rig. Rig means uniform. So never be late at any cost. So discipline is imbibed into you since your younger days, and then it becomes your way of life. Then we value the nationalism over regionalism. What I mean by that is, I have got lot many friends who are of various religions, and they belong to various states, and they are more dear friends than my local native friends. So once you enter the armed forces, you lose that narrow-mindedness of having a regionalism. Like, I am a Maharashtrian, I am a Punjabi, I am a Sikh. No, you are an Indian first, and that bonding comes and it remains with you throughout. Your horizon broadens. Then comes the you live the adventurous life. Basically, you can pursue your hobbies. You can opt for paragliding, whitewater rafting, mountaineering, scuba diving, and whatnot. Whatever you dream of is possible if you join armed forces, and if you opt for that, it is taken care. Now, another another important factor which armed forces teaches you is to become a leader. Basically, they want and they teach you to take on the responsibility. As you must have realized from the examples given by Colonel Prashant, the example of Captain Khetarpal or Second Lieutenant, what he gave, you can easily make out. You have to lead by the example. And who is our mentor? Our mentor is no one less than Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj, who always used to lead his men in various challenges. Wherever it involved the danger to the life, he used to lead from the front. So that is what you get to learn once you enter into armed forces. And last but not the least, what you get out of it? You get a satisfaction that you have done your bit. You have served your country. You have given you have done some justice to you have earning your bread. Okay. Now coming to the training part. See, guys, you are more informed nowadays that there are many ways to enter into armed forces. First is through NDA, that is National Defence Academy at Pune. If you are not able to make it, then you can get into army through IMA and OTA. IMA is Indian Military Academy, which is located at Dehradun, and another is OTA, Officers Training Academy, which is located at Chennai and Gaya. So these are the various institutes through which you can get into armed forces. Once you get into armed forces, the first and foremost thing you come across is the rigors that you have to undergo. The training is very, very rigorous, but your determination and never say die attitude is inculcated from that moment itself. I still recollect when we landed in the academy, the next day, the first period was the 10-meter jump in the swimming pool. 10 meter is, if you can, if I may say, you are jumping into a swimming pool from the 3rd floor of the building. So it's a horrible experience, but yes, you have to jump. So naturally, we were afraid of jumping into the water. So again, that lead from front, our battalion commander led us. He jumped first, then followed by all the instructors. Then we had no option but to jump into the water. So that's how values are imbibed into you, and you you grow over as a human being. Now, what happens if you don't qualify, or if you are not able to physically, because of some physical constraints or because of any constraints, you are not able to qualify for the armed forces, but still you have got lot of options like NCC. Since you are there in the school and you will be shortly going to the colleges, you must opt for NCC, which will develop your personality. You will come to know what is the way you should walk, how you should be marching, how you should be talking, how you should be standing. Your entire personality will be developed in these kind of NCC battalions. And last but not the least, you are, even if you can't contribute directly by becoming a member of armed forces, you must have apply and try and pass UPSC and MPSC exams, and still you can serve the nation. Okay, and before I conclude, I wish to quote the motto of my prestigious organization, that is IMA, that safety, honor, and welfare of your men comes first, of your country comes first, always and every time. Safety, honor, and welfare of your men comes next, and your own safety, honor, and welfare comes last, always and every time. Thank you so much. Jai Hind.
A soldier truly displays tremendous acts of valor, sacrifice, discipline, responsibility, and leadership. Thank you, Lieutenant Colonel Butala, for motivating our students and encouraging them to serve our motherland. Now, our students, Soumya Lele, Vaishnavi Liman, Shravani Joglekar, Shamika Acharya of grade 8, through the medium of dance, are paying homage to our soldiers.
अफसोस ने जो तेरे लिए सौ दर्द से महफूज रहे तेरी आन सदा चाहे जान मेरी रहे न रहे हाँ मेरी ज़मीं महबूब मेरी मेरी नस नस में तेरा इश्क बहे फीका न पड़े कभी रंग तेरा जिस्म से निकल के खून कहे तेरी मिट्टी में मिल जाऊं गुल बन के मैं खिल जाऊं इतनी सी है दिल की आरज़ू तेरी नदियों में बह जाऊं तेरे खेतों में लहराऊं इतनी सी है दिल की आरज़ू सरसों से भरे खलियान मेरे जहाँ झूम के भंगड़ा पास आबाद रहे वो गाँव मेरा जहाँ लौट के वापस जा न सका हो वतनावे मेरे वतनावे तेरा मेरा प्यार निराला था कुर्बान हुआ तेरी असमत पे मैं कितना नसीबों वाला था तेरी मिट्टी में मिल जाऊं गुल बन के मैं खिल जाऊं इतनी सी है दिल की आरज़ू तेरी नदियों में बह जाऊं तेरे खेतों में लहराऊं इतनी सी है दिल की आरज़ू
A story of recapturing every inch of the mountain, a story of unflinching commitment a story of valiant sacrifice for the nation. We salute our heroes for their noble sacrifice. I now invite Mrs. Rohini Natikar, supervisor of the primary section, to give the vote of thanks.
Today, we have gathered to commemorate Kargil Vijay Divas. I quote Field Marshal Maneksha's word at IMA Dehradun, addressing officer cadets. You are required to ensure the security of this country against any aggressor. What does that mean for you? It means that you should have to fight and fight to win. There is no room for the loser. If you lose, don't come back. I unquote. A warm and graceful morning to one and all present here. It's my privilege to propose vote of thanks and acknowledge the contribution of those who have made this virtual assembly a special one. On behalf of entire school, I thank the Board of Directors, Principal Dr. Mrs. Arnavaz Bhagat for their constant support. Hearty thanks to our guest speakers, Colonel Prashant O and Lieutenant Colonel Devendra Butala, who spared time from their schedule to be a part of our assembly and share their experiences of valor and courage in their services to our motherland. They make us proud, and we are fortunate to have them amongst us here today. Special thanks to the students who were a part of today's assembly. Wonderful display students. Last but not the least, thanks to all the teachers who have trained the students. Especially, I would like to mention these names. Ms. Neha Dubey for dance, Ms. Tripti Iyer and Jaya ma'am for the PowerPoint presentation and speech, Ms. Suman Mishra for Hindi poem, Ms. Madonna for computing, Usha ma'am, Ms. Shobna, Ms. Janvi for overall guidance, and Ms. Arunima and Natasha for live stream. Thank you all teachers. Thank you all once again. Jai Hind.
We have now come to the end of this assembly. Thank you for joining us this morning. Have a nice day. Jai Hind.